business functions. On business functions, never be that guy. Never be that guy. If you go to a business function, you know, if you have a cocktail, have one cocktail, shut it down. Never be that guy. Believe me, we've all gone to too many business functions where somebody's out on a ledge and nobody pulls them off. Don't be that guy, believe me. Okay, I came to New Mexico State to play basketball. I didn't necessarily come to get grades, and I accomplished both in my first year. I wasn't a very good student, but what I learned very quickly was I took a test. I didn't do very well. I got with my roommate who was in the same class, and he said, "Well, study with me next time." And he brought in a couple of other guys. Next thing you know, I think I got my only A that semester in the next test, and I got it because we did a really good team. About myself, I came here in '68, graduated in the summer of '72, which is technically '73. Married for 38 years, 3 kids, two grandkids. Digressing a little bit here, but when I got here, I figured out first of all that I had to work with some folks to get my grades. So I started this teamwork thing, and that's pretty much how I got through. One of the important classes I took was a class on speaking, and I did very well in the class. And then when I got into business, I forgot a lot of the principles that I learned in that speaking class. In one of the first interviews that I had, I got hired by Roger Stahl. And Roger is an icon. He's a very good guy, and I've been working with him for 25 years. But one of the first interviews that we had, we were trying to get some business. I stumbled. I was horrible in it. And I went back to the fact that I know I could speak. I know I was a good speaker, but why did I stumble? And one of my colleagues at that time said, "Get into Toastmasters." So I talked with Professor Martin about this yesterday. We shared this. He was also a Toastmasters, and I don't know if any of you know what Toastmasters. But there's like a series of 10 things in the first quadrant of Toastmasters, and the first one is introduce yourself. And it's a 5-minute speech. But what happens in there is that if you give a lot of ahs and you give a lot of stumbling and you know, people are in there making noises. And you know, they're ringing a bell or they're hitting a glass or they're doing something. So every time you say you know, you hear a bell. Every time you say you know or you hear something else. So what happened is I stayed in Toastmasters for 3 years just because of the one time I stumbled. I said, I'm not going to do that again. I'm going to get up, I'm going to be able to speak in front of a crowd, and I'm going to do it well. So that Toastmasters thing, and I would encourage everyone in here, you've got to know how to communicate. You have to be able to. You have to be able to think on your feet. You got to be able to, and if you stumble, you got to be able to come back. The other thing that I think is important is you got to be able to write. You have to be able to write. If you are sending a note to Bobby, he's the CEO of 5 different companies. How many, you can't write him a 3-page note. You can't write him a 3-paragraph note. You're going to write him 5 sentences. You're going to say, Bobby, this is who I am, this is what I want, this is why you can help me. You're going to do it succinctly. You're going to do it in 5 sentences. If you do it in 3 paragraphs, you've lost it. You've lost it. Second paragraph, he's on to something else. So you have to know how to communicate. You have to know how to write, and that's all here. The other thing that's amazing here that I got through, I played basketball and stuff, but the thing that I got here was always teamwork. When I'm amazed at the professors that are here and the willingness that they have to reach out to you students. It's amazing. When I was here, I had some good professors, no question about it, but everybody was kind of doing their own thing, and I wasn't smart enough to reach out. And so you students need to be smart enough to reach out. If you're having trouble on anything, these folks are here to help you. I mean, it's amazing the support that you get here. This is a big university with a small college environment, and I think that's awesome. It's amazing. So you got to be able to communicate. You got to be able to write. You got to think on your toes. Okay, now interviews. We're going to do these mock interviews, and Bobby just told me I don't know if we're going to be able to do it or not because of our schedule.
We're gonna move it up a little bit.
Okay. Here's the thing on interviews. My whole thing is, I've been in commercial real estate for 30 plus years. when I go in, before I go into the interview of any kind, I ask questions. I do the research. You know, you look up everything you can on the web, you find out everything you can find out. But I ask questions. My interviewing technique is asking questions. I'm telling you, and I told this to Nick yesterday, where's Nick? Right here, Nick. I said, when you go into interview, I feel that you're interviewing the company as much as they're interviewing you. I really do. I mean, you're interviewing that company. Do you really want to work for that company? And that's your, that's your mission. When you walk in the door, you've done the research, you think you do, but now you're in front of one of their employees, a trusted employee who's interviewing you, and you want to know, is this a place I really want to work? So you've got to be able to go in and you've got to ask questions. I think you're asking as many questions from that interviewee as they're asking from you. And you're asking good questions like, how much am I going to get paid? What's my competition? What is it really going to take for me to get this job? I mean, you're looking for an individual. We're going to interview 100 people, but you're looking for one individual. What is that individual's makeup? What are you looking for? You're looking for somebody who can sell? I can sell. You're looking for somebody who can crunch numbers? I'm out the door. What is it that you're looking for? And I think that's the mission that you're on is don't just go in and be the deer in headlights. Don't do that thing. The other thing was dress for success. Always dress for success. Always, always, always. Bobby always looks $100. I wasn't going to wear a tie or anything. Bobby said I always wear a tie in these presentations, so I'm wearing a tie. I appreciate you saying that too. I really do. But always dress for success. If you go in and you're overdressed, who cares? It's far better than walking in with jeans, and showing tattoos. Don't get me wrong on that. So I would say, when you're in the interview, ask questions. Ask good questions. Come in prepared to ask good questions. And I think that is my